It's Purple Haze. Oh, okay, here we go. Hey everyone, it's Purple Haze. Thank you so much for coming to my first stream. Apologies to Jeff Shanak. I did not know he was streaming right now, but for everyone here, thank you. It really means a lot. I'll talk about my motivations here in a second. But before I do that, I really want to introduce our special guest. It's a lot of y'all know him, some of you don't, but it's a privilege. He needs no introduction, but I'll let him do one for himself anyways. So without further ado.
It's crazy in these streets because I am excited to be the very first guest on the Purple Haze experience. Guys, let me tell you something. First of all, she is epic. And I get to say that I was on here first. But she has me as a guest, so that means I'm going to take over because this is about to be epic. Well, let me tell you a little something about me if you don't already know. They call me the Cowboy, and it's a reason that I'm the Cowboy because I'm the quick talker, smooth walker. I'm that guy that does everything that nobody else does. You know why? Because they don't have the balls to do what I do. So let me just say this. Oh yeah, this video is about to be epic for one reason and one reason only. You got Purple Haze mixed with the Cowboy, and it's about to go down. And all you little clowns that's sitting there listening and talking smack about the Cowboy, well, Purple Haze got me, and I'm ready to give it to you. And with that said, guys, I just finished having the very first all-purpose championships in Mad Streets. And you know what happened? I won! That's what happened. The Cowboy won. We had Ray in there. We had Paul in there. We had some guy, Wilson, in there. But it didn't matter because the Cowboy pulled off the victory. Man, that's what I do. But anyway, enough of that. I'm going to pull up a chair. I'm going to properly join this show. And it's going to be epic. So I hope you guys all pull up a chair. And let's give Purple a very great welcome for her very first show.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Cowboy. That was amazing. Also, I saw the victory. I know Ray's in the chat. Just for anybody who saw it, it was like we had to do a replay. Cowboy proved why he's the all-purpose champ. Ray, I know you want a rematch on that. We'll probably get one.
Whoa, Purple. You don't, Purple. Don't do that. Because the Cowboy don't play losers twice. That's what I don't do. I don't do that, okay?
So
if he got a problem, he could cry to his mama, or he could go play Paul or Wilson, both losers. But the Cowboy don't play losers twice. So don't tell Ray that. Don't do that.
You're right. You're right, Cowboy. All right. Well, thank you so much, Cowboy. So just for everyone, everybody has like kind of their different show, their different spin. A little bit on, my spin. I really like to dig into different content creators, whether, on YouTube, game developers, so forth. And so I'm really excited to have one of the OGs, if not the OG of the Stadia community, Cowboy, his channel, And Your Mama Knows, the introduction to this crowd. But I do have some questions for you, Cowboy, and in chat, for sure, definitely, if you have some questions, you want to know some certain things, please ask. It's going to be kind of all over the question, all over the place. You know, some of it's going to be for Anthony, some of it's going to be for Cowboy, some of it's going to be for the all-purpose champ. So hopefully we can get it all in there. But really want just this conversation, this one-on-one conversation. And obviously, chat, it's nothing without you all. So please put in your questions. I'll definitely do my best to get to them. You know, I have a couple different ways to look at it, but definitely. So, Cowboy, you know, first of all, I want to know what got you into streaming. Like,
Okay.
what like brought, you know, I've always seen the personality, I've always seen the entertainment, but what brought you here?
All right, so here's what's cool. I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm an open book. I'll answer any question you ask, and but that's a great question, and it's a funny story. So I used to sell kettle corn with my stepdad. All right, he works for a company, and Monday through Friday they worked on pools. So I know kettle corn pools. So literally, they built pools, they fixed pools, they repaired pools, swimming pools, right? And on the weekends, that same guy had a company called Northeast Kettle Corn, and they would go to different events, like legit, like you know, they go to different events. You had to do a fire inspection, food inspection. So my stepdad said, "Hey, if you know you want to make extra money, you know, why don't you be a you know, join me, right?" So I said, "Okay, whatever, right?" And the guy who owned it, he used to always wear a cowboy hat. That was his gimmick. An older guy named Charlie. He walked around with a cowboy hat. He hand out samples. So he would say, "Tony, come here. Let me show you how to give samples." I'm like, "All right, whatever." And then after a while, and I did it for about 4 years, right? And I was like, dude, I love his little gimmick with the cowboy hat. And he would have extra hats. So I started wearing his cowboy hats whenever I sold kettle corn. Then I bought my own. We went to a rodeo. We did a rodeo. I bought my own. It was like $65 for a cowboy hat, and I paid that money and bought it, right? Matter of fact, my very first cowboy hat that I purchased is right here. So Stadia community probably remember this hat. It got all old and beat up, the wires coming out of it. So anyway, so I ended up buying this hat. So long story short, a friend of mine had asked me if I would host a tournament, right? He wanted to do a show where it was a video game tournament for Tekken. He asked would I host it. So when I was a big fan of Tekken, I said, hey, and I met him through video game tournaments. So I said, hey, can I host it and be a part of it, be a contestant? He was like, I said, look, I can have split personalities. He was like, okay, so what would you do? I said, all right. So I usually wear a blazer. At work, in my regular life, I dress up a lot. I wear more shoes than sneakers, if people didn't know, but I like to dress up. That's just me, right? So I said, all right, when I ask questions, I'll wear a blazer, right? And I have my blazer and everything. But when I'm a contestant, I'll take the blazer off camera. I'll take the blazer off. I'll put gloves on. I'll put a cowboy hat on. And I'll act like I'm two different people. So I got to name the show, and it was called All Purpose Champion. So if you won, you got to be an All Purpose Champion. And it was a one-off. So he liked it so much, said, dude, let's make a series. So anyway, we did a series, and I would always wear the cowboy hat. Me and him had a fallout. So he canceled the show, and a good friend of mine said, bro, why don't you just go into game streaming? I said, game streaming? Man, oh, game streaming suck. Who the hell game streams? Little kids watch people play games. I'm be honest, I wasn't into it. So he said, dude, you got the personality. You could do your own thing. People could watch you to be your own show. I said, bro, I'm not game streaming. That's not my thing. So I Googled it and looked it up. Sorry, what do I got to do to game stream? It said you need a PlayStation camera, and you that'll pretty much do it for you. So I bought a PlayStation camera, it's like $70, and I said, all right, let me try this. And I started game streaming, but I kept the cowboy hat and the gloves, right? So I never knew it was going to be anything. I never called myself the cowboy. I just thought it would be silly to have a cowboy hat. And asked my wife. I used to always say, I'm a cowboy when I beat people. Oh, man. And she used to be like, oh, my God, could you shut up? It was never a thing. Like, I just did it because it was stupid, right? So then when I got into Stadia and I said, okay, I'm going to stream Stadia, let me just wear the hat and the gloves. So I never called myself the cowboy. It was just a thing I did. And then people started saying like, oh, he must be like the cowboy. And I was like, I don't call myself the cowboy. And then I met Ray. Now, a quick story. I didn't know Ray from a can of paint, but I was on Stadia Source as I was one of Stadia Source streamers, and they would do a roundtable podcast on Thursdays. And I would see so many people write Ray, the Game and Cyborg, and I was like, yo, everybody know this Ray guy, and everybody call him the Game and Cyborg. I was like, oh, that's kind of like his personality. I wear a cowboy hat, but people don't call me cowboy. So I was like, you know what? If he's popular, you know what I'm gonna do? I don't know him. So I would go and to his streams. And I didn't know him, he didn't know me. And I would write, Cowboys are better than cyborgs. And I kept doing it. And he would read it. Sometimes he ignored it. Sometimes he'd be like, whatever, dude, whatever. And I kept doing, I felt like this guy got a personality and I don't think he'll be mad. But I want to kind of use his popularity to kind of get my foot in the door. And I kept saying it until he was like, whatever, no, it ain't. Cyborgs are better. And then we formed like a connection. And then one day I inboxed, said, bro, I would love to do a show with you or something. And he was like, think about it. Like literally, this little old me asking Ray to game in Cyborg. He's like, think about it. So months later, me and him actually did some stuff together and people knew me as the Cowboy. And so that's kind of how I got as the Cowboy. And that's kind of how I started streaming. I never planned on streaming. Matter of fact, I streamed on Twitch for 2 years before I even came to YouTube. So my channel was called All Purpose Champion Crew. So it was me and 2 other guys. And that's how I started streaming.
Well, I love it. So that's awesome because it gave us a little insight because I know Ray just wrote Cyborgs Over Cowboy. So that's super cool how
Not
that like
tonight.
No, I love that about the community. Just like that there and just kind of growing with the community. So another question I have is obviously Stadia. Why Stadia? Right? Because you've been gaming for a while. I mean, I've been on your channel and you'll ask me some gaming questions.
Yeah.
And I'm like if it's not Nintendo, I'm kind of lost. So why Stadia, not another platform that probably has a bigger audience that you probably have the library of games, as Maker of Chaos would say? Why Stadia?
That's a great question, and it's an awesome answer. So I was a very big, God bless you, very big Destiny player. And I used to work at a market research company and I had a lot of free time. I had an office with no windows. So I would be in there just chilling, right? And pretty much I answered calls. So I handled the tough calls. When doctors didn't get paid, they called in pissed off, they got me. And I pretty much was the guy to, calm them down, right? So when the phone wasn't ringing, I had a lot of free time. I used to work on my videos, all this stuff. And I used to be like, I wish I could play my Destiny because I was such a big fan that Destiny back in part 1, you did a lot of farming. So it was like just dumb stuff. I was like, I wish I could play the game. So the PvP came out and the Vita came out. And my daughter's boyfriend was like, you could have my Vita because a friend of mine told me, they got a thing called remote play. So you could play your games like mirrored from your home to your thing. I was like, wait, what? So he let me have his Vita. I would go to work and it was terrible. And I'm like, dude, my character and stuff comes up, but it was so laggy. I couldn't even farm. Like, it was just terrible. And I was like, dag, I wish it would work. So I was so hell-bent to make remote play work. I would do it on my laptop, sitting in bed. Like, how cool is it that I could have my PlayStation in the living room, and I could be playing in my bedroom on my laptop. But it just wasn't smooth. So then I heard Google was coming out with Stadia. And it was going to be cloud game, and it was going to be smooth, and all you need is 10 megabytes per second, and you could do up to 720p, and if you had 25, you could do it. I'm like, wait, what? So I could legitimately be at work and have my phone and a controller and play Destiny? So what I'm telling you, if you look at my channel, I got so many videos of remote play before Stadia, before I even knew what Stadia was. I was always into if there was a way to play my games away from home, right? But here's the caveat. I never, ever owned a handheld besides one, and that was the Sega Nomad. Why? Because the Sega Nomad was a Sega Genesis. Now, my issue is when you get a Game Boy, you had to buy the same game twice. If you love Super Mario, then you got to buy the Super Mario version on Game Boy. I didn't like paying 2 times for the same game. So I was never into handhelds besides the Sega Nomad. So remote play would have allowed me to play the same game I purchased at home somewhere else, but it didn't work. But Stadia promised to do just that. And when I said, you know what? It's $130 for this Premier Edition. You know what? I'm going to try it. It's only $130. If it don't work, at least I tried it, right? And it blew me away because Stadia did exactly what they said. I buy the game once, and I could play on my TV, my laptop, my phone. I could go on vacation. We go on vacation every year, right? And I remember going to Myrtle Beach, and I wanted to bring my big PlayStation, right? My wife was like, no, you can't bring your PlayStation. I'm thinking like, there's a lot of downtime. Like, you might be asleep, but I didn't bring it, right? But guess what? I take my phone everywhere. So, and I could just grab a controller. So Stadia literally solved what I wanted for so long before I even knew of cloud gaming.
No, no. So like, I think that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Because that's how, like, I think I talked about, my journey to Stadia, and but before, I would really like to see your definition of Stadia, just so you know. Uh, there is a couple of Google Stadia dog fooders in the crowd that I was able to rally up, and so they're a little silent. And I also have my mom who she thinks Stadia is a game. So how would you define uh, Google Stadia, cloud game? How would you define it?
So I'm going to define it this way, and I'm going to actually show you. So I'm a tech guy, right? So I have this folding phone, right? So you guys see it? It's a phone, and then it turns into a tablet, all right? Same screen, right? So just today, okay, I'm going to break down Stadia for you. John Scars, which we all know, most people know him, he was doing a Mad Streets play, right? And I said, hey, I'm going to join you guys on my lunch break. So I took my controller. I'll show you guys real quick. Just hold on. So I got this really cool controller that looks like this, and I can open it and slap my phone in it. And I just hit Bluetooth. It turns on my phone, just like earbuds. I want to break it down to people, or just like a watch that you do Bluetooth to your phone, right? You guys get that concept. So this is a Bluetooth, and then all of a sudden it turns into pretty much a controller, right? It becomes a controller. On my lunch break, people, I have my phone inside of my controller, and I was able to join his stream and play with him. So what Stadia is the ability to play video games on just about any device you already own. Remember, I already got a phone. I didn't go out and buy a new phone for Stadia. I already had a phone anyway. And it doesn't have to be a folding phone. It could be a regular phone. Stadia is your way to play without limits. I nickname us sometimes limitless gamers because, again, when I was going to go on my vacations, I don't bring a big book bag with my PlayStation. I just take my phone I would have took anywhere. So let's say I say, hey, I'm going to visit Purple Haze. Oh, I left my phone at home, but I'm a gamer. I get to your house. I want to play games. I could play my gaming library on just about anything without anything on me, right? Because I can say, hey, Purple, could I play my games? You're like, what do you mean? You brought your games with you? No, my game's in the cloud. Well, what do you mean? What does that mean? Oh, well, you got a laptop? Yeah. I'm just gonna go on your laptop, type in stadia.com, do my login, and bam, all of my games are right there. My games, literally, my library of games goes with me wherever I go, because all I have to do is get my hands on a web browser, right? And that's pretty much it. Or you could say, well, you could borrow my phone. Let me borrow your phone. And it has touch control. So I don't really need a controller, but this would be the optimal way to play. So to me, my definition of Stadia is gaming without limits. Cloud gaming allows you to play games wherever you go with just about any device.
That's awesome. And I just want to give a shout out to everyone who's here. So many content creators. Obviously, we have Cowboy up here, uh, Lo-Fi Monk, Main Games, Jesse Bell. I think I saw Vet Cloud Gaming. Of course, Doc Dark 1985, 1985, levels to this. Actually have a huge shout out to Doc. He gave me kind of a voice in the community.
Yeah.
Just went on his channel. I'm starting to choke up. I just went on his channel. So I just went on his channel, and he was able to, talk to him a little bit, and gave me a shout out on his channel, and really kind of like planted a seed in my mind. So thank you, Doc. But just so many people, thank you for the support. But like I said, this is like a two-way conversation. Like, so obviously Cowboy on his channel, you know how he is. Actually, Cowboy on any channel. It's like
I'll tell you this, guys. The reason why this is my persona, but this is me in real life. But I'm a big wrestling fan. So some people might be like, why is this dude dressed as a cowboy? So I'm a big wrestling fan, and wrestlers have their personalities, they have their gimmick, we say, right? My favorite wrestler is Stone Cold Steve Austin. He said, your wrestling gimmick should always be you, just turned up to the max. So this is me, right? Sometimes my wife like, oh my God, here we go. Trust me, this is me, right? But I get to be my own character, right? Like YouTube or Twitch or any of these platforms, they allow anyone, you, me, Purple, anyone has the ability to become something they always wanted to be, right? So for me, who wouldn't want to be an actor, right? But I get to my own channel, I get to be my own character, right? And I get to have viewers that watch. I get to, like today, it gave out codes that a developer gave me. So YouTube is my form of entertainment outside of working, outside of playing video games. And on top of that, I don't know if you guys know, but I'm literally a MC, not a rapper, but I'm a master of ceremony. So I literally host weddings. I host school events, daddy-daughter dances. I did a bunch of galas. I did a bunch of color runs. So I literally am the guy on the microphone at the wedding saying, "Coming in now, Mr. and Mrs." That's what I do in my spare time as well. So that's probably why the personality, because I like to stand up when I talk. At a wedding, I don't be behind a DJ booth. I go in front of the audience. I stand on the floor and I tell everybody to stand up, get ready. So that's a little extra side of my personality that you guys are probably like, yo, this guy. But that's just me. It's always been me. I wake up with energy. I go to sleep with energy. I'm weird. I'm straight edge. And I'm always like, I love dancing. When I go out to the clubs, people be like, what is Anthony drinking? Like, yo, Anthony don't even drink. Like, I'm the party starter. So that's a little bit of kind of me.
No, that's why I brought you. I was like, I gotta go big. I gotta go big or go home.
I
Even though
appreciate that. I still just feel like little old me, but Ray and I did talk a year ago. And so when I think of the OGs, I think of Nerdness. I think of MM2K. I think of Clive, Sonny, those guys. But Ray and I did say, in about a year, we're going to be like kind of like the older guys, and all these new people are going to be coming in. And so it was really cool to see a year later that it's like, wow, we are kind of, some people look at it like, oh, those guys been around for a while. And my thing is, I want everybody to do what I did and more, right? I never even wanted to have my channel monetized, and I would give credit to Josh Warren. He said, dude, you've been doing this for, at the time, it was 9 years, and you don't got your channel monetized, so I just do it for fun. And he was like, bro, you need to monetize the channel. So I gave myself a goal of a year, did it a year and 30 days. And it's been cool. You get a paycheck just from doing stuff you love, right? It's kind of cool. So I tell everybody, just do the same thing if that's what you want to do. If you're just doing this and you don't care to make money or care to do anything extra, then don't. But I want to see all these new faces that just blow the roof off. Even my daughter, she just launched her channel yesterday, right? Lo-fi, like the new guys, you, Low, Win, Main, Climax, like, man, you guys are coming in here like really hot, and it's really cool to see that.
Yeah. So obviously you've been streaming a while. You've been streaming a lot of different content, right? So one thing I like about you kind of like stream everything. You think all parts of your life. You always this gorgeous seafood that, like, I swear, like every other week I'm like, I gotta go to a seafood restaurant now because you're just streaming amazing stuff. What's been probably like your highest point so far when you're streaming? Like the moment you look back and are so far and have said, I'm super proud of that, or that's what I want to tell people. What's been that moment?
So I'll take a quick funny story. My first video I consider viral that probably had more than 1,000 views, right? Because my videos, they're all kind of small, but I do certain stuff that just go viral, right? So some people probably don't know, but I met a lot of people in Stadia community, I met a lot of people in streaming because of like a treadmill video. I do a lot of reviews. So my gaming people, y'all probably like, what? But so I made a video that wasn't a review, but it's a funny story. We used to have, my wife used to have a ferret, and we had our dog. Our dog's real aggressive to animals, right? So we wanted to see what would happen if they play together. So I didn't know what the term clickbait was at the time. So the title of the video, and it's still there, is called Dog Eats White Ferret. Don't ask me why. So yes, the dog did not eat the ferret, but that's what I titled it. So in the video, my wife was letting them play, and the dog was getting aggressive. My wife, one point in time, she even yanked the ferret away, and my dog jumped in the air. You're like, oh my God, the dog's about to bite the ferret head off. So the whole time, I guess people are thinking this dog's gonna eat the ferret. I didn't know. So months go by, and I'm new to YouTube because I've been doing YouTube for a while, but like I just did it for fun. I didn't really focus, right? And I kept getting all the notifications going crazy. And like, what is this? I got the app or whatever, right? And I go to the video, and it's Dog Eat White Ferret, and all these people are like, stupid, dumb B. what is she? And they're bashing my wife. And I'm like, and mind you, I didn't see the video. I made it and I let it go, right? This is probably a couple months later. Somehow the algorithm put that video out there, and that video had like 4,000 views. And I was like, for me, 100 views would have been good. I was like, what? And it was just people bashing my wife. And I told my wife, she said, delete all the comments. I said, no, no, no. If we delete them, then people are going to feel like they can't comment and they're going to stop watching the video. So I learned that controversy does sell. I'm not going to lie to you. So that was my first video that was like, it wowed me a little bit. But I'm really detailed with my reviews. And I reviewed a treadmill that I bought and it went crazy. So that thing got over 50,000 views. And what happened was when I was making the video, it got an error code. So I ended up calling the company. I figured out how to fix the error code. It was simple. So I left it in my video. I explained how you fix the error code. I said, I don't take points away because it was so simple to fix. And people just fell in love with that video and people was watching like crazy. That's one of my great achievements. I think I even look back and say, man, that was a good video, like of a review. But my favorite video is my Avon video. That was when I was experimenting with a lot of the jump cuts and a lot of, I made my voice the high pitch and all this stuff. And I did a lot of editing on that video. And I was like, even today, I look at that video like, man, that video was a pretty cool video. And it was just me talking about I sell Avon. So guys, by the way, I sell Avon. You go to my channel, the link to my video. If you want to buy Avon, I sell Avon. But yeah, so.
No. What does that feel like when you get like so many people, like when you go viral, right? Like, what does that feel like that so many people have clicked to your channel and saw you, and just from a simple platform, you going on a camera and just being you, like?
It's a pretty cool feeling because it reminds me of wrestling. I'm a fan and I watch these guys on TV day in, day out. They put their body on the line, and it make you feel good to know that. So I always say that I do this because I like it, right? So I create content that I like first. And then I hope that people who enjoy my content find it, because I don't want to just make content that I don't enjoy. Then it's like another job. So I don't care if one person watch it, I'm going to do it anyway because I think it's funny or whatever, right? But when I see people enjoy what I enjoy, then it's cool. And I have people that's like, oh, I don't like that. But you don't watch. It's fine. Because I feel it's fair. Like even now, right? Some people get mad, like, bro, you're streaming when I'm streaming. But I feel like this. It's a big world out there. And yes, it's a small platform. We all know the same people. But if I was ever streaming and you guys were like, oh, sorry, Cowboy, Purple streaming right now, I got to go. Great, because that just means the content that you really liked was going on and mine wasn't the top. That's like watching a show, right? Let's say you're watching a Netflix show and you're watching Netflix movie, right? So it's a movie. And you're like, oh, my show just started. What you're going to do? You're probably going to go watch your show, right? So, and that's fine. Nobody would tell you, no, you need to continue the Netflix show because you're watching it first. No, so I'm just happy when people watch my stuff because I hope they enjoy it. Like I won't put somebody in the spot, but there's some people who watch content and they just want you to watch their content. I want to watch your content because I want to watch it, right? Because I get entertained. So trust me, I watch so much content. I watch Squiz. I watch everybody like throughout the day. I watch people. Now, there's some content that maybe there's a sports show. I don't watch sports. I just watch wrestling, right? So I feel like do your content and hopefully the people who like your content watch it. But we shouldn't say, watch my content to support me. No, I say watch my content if you get value out of it, if you enjoy it. Don't do it to support me because then I feel like you're just doing it. And I feel like you could be doing something else better with your time. We don't have that much time, to be honest with you, right? We got to live our lives and be excited that we're alive and we're living. I always like to say, I don't let life live me, I live life, right? So I feel like when people watch my content, that means they enjoy it, right? And I don't want people to watch it to support me. If you want to support me, just click on it and like it and then leave, right? That's the supporting me. But don't sit through it like, oh, here we go. Like the moment I'm getting bored, then just go watch something else, and that's perfectly fine, you know.
I know when the way I came, so I saw your channel. You know, I've been in Stadia like just looking at different things for quite a while, and so I saw your stuff early on. But then like when I really saw it was I was watching a channel with Doc, and he was like, "Stadia, is this your champion?" And I was like, Like, I'm not sure you remember that one.
I
And
do.
so
I
then
do.
so I needed to watch the whole thing because Doc, he likes to edit things in
Yeah.
certain ways. Um, when he does edit. And so
Yeah. That's very
so
rare.
like but no, but so that's your high point. When's been your low point?
I don't know, man. Like some people, so I gotta be honest. I'm a weird character. People say, like, oh man, how was your day? You have a bad day? I don't believe in bad days, right? Let me just break it down like this. Let's say you had the worst day of your life. Okay, you woke up, you stubbed your toe. So it started off bad. You got in your car, you needed gas, you forgot to get gas the other night. So you went to get gas and made you late for work. You got written up by your boss. So now it's even worse, right? You got late to work, so you couldn't take a lunch break, so you was really hungry. So you get home and your DVR didn't record your favorite show, you're pissed off, you go to bed, right? So that's a bad day. But I'll ask you this. So what did you eat? Well, I never ate lunch break. Okay. Did you eat breakfast? No, not really, because I was running late. Okay, so what you have for dinner? Oh man, I had mac and cheese. I love mac and cheese. So then you didn't have a bad day. No, I did. But I thought you just loved mac and cheese. I do, but my day was bad. No, no, no. Your whole day wasn't bad because you had mac and cheese, which you love. So I don't think I have a low point because this is what I like to do, So I don't know what's low. I get creative control. I get to create all these different contents. Like when a new game come out and I like it, like I've had a Red Dead show called I'm a Cowboy All Man. I did maybe 2 episodes. Of like, honestly, I don't really like this game, so I cut it. Right. I did Olympic Games show called Olympic Games Tournament or whatever on Stadia. The first couple episodes was great. I did a giveaway. Then I did a show, a weekday show, and it was like nobody's watching. I was like, okay, then it's not that popular. So I killed it. I did a Red Dead, Rainbow Six show called Rainbow Six Who Will Survive or something like that. It started off hot, and then people wasn't watching. So I said, you know what? This people don't like it, so I cut it. I think you can't be afraid of change, and you can't be afraid to start something new, right? So my channel went through a lot of metamorphoses. Like, look at my background. It used to be all my different things, right? And somebody said, bro, that looks so cluttered, but I loved it. Eventually I said, you know what? I'm going to streamline it, right? I went crazy trying to figure out what would the new logo be, right? And it was just going to be Cowboy, whatever. So I say that to say this. I don't think I've had a low time because this is what I want to do, right? I sure have had some issues where a friend and I had a fallout, right? But I'm always going to be true to me. So if we had a fallout and maybe I said something they didn't like, but I was just being honest. It's hard for me to just shut up. That's one of my flaws, right? I should just be like, you know what? I'm going to leave it alone. Like even when people hate on Stadia, I used to be the Stadia, people would tag me. Cowboy, look what he said about Stadia. I'm like, what you say? Then I realized, you know what? But even that was fun, right? And so then when people get mad at me, and trust me, the SBC, Stadia Bash Community Network, we had over 47 people at a time. My big mouth had some people pissed off at me at some point in time, and a lot of people left, right? And that was me. But everything I said, I was honest, and that's how I felt, right? Maybe I should have just not said it and kept it to myself. But if we still go back, I said everything I said, I was honest. I always said, catch me in a lie. And that's what I don't like to do. I might joke around, tell a fib, but I don't lie. So everything I've ever said was honest. So even a low point where somebody got pissed off at me and we're not cool anymore, I still was honest. So I just felt like I never had a low point. I'm living out kind of like my dream, right? I get to be a character. I always wanted to be a wrestler, but I'm only 5'5", so it probably wouldn't work. So this is, so I don't know. I don't look at negatives. I don't have bad days. I don't have low points. I just live life. I don't let life live me. So I'm just being honest.
No, thank you. Well, like I said, I asked the chat to ask questions. Obviously, you have Cowboy here. Any questions are open. But
Everything is on the table. Ask away.
everything. So we have the climax who's still Suave, still super high with World War Z being announced for Stadia. I know he's still on his high. He has this question: are you a cowboy or a biker?
I'm a cowboy. I got the cowboy hat on. Back in the day, cowboys, when they robbed you, Suave, you might want to watch that. They had they bandanas on. So, I'm a cowboy.
No, awesome. So, we got Match Streets. You're the champion of that so far, undisputed champion at the moment.
It's on video. It's on video.
On video. What's the next thing you're looking forward to with Stadia?
So I am a big Marvel Avengers fan, and so I put a lot of stock into that game. I created a channel, so I never had another channel other than Marvel Avengers or Stadia Avengers. I called it. I created an intro, everything. Right. I put a lot of stock into that. I followed the game heavily for a while, and then I got more into the Stadia community, and a lot of people wasn't into that game, so I did a lot of other stuff. But um, I am looking forward to the new update for that game. They announced that the next hero will be Jane Foster, which they're gonna have a movie where Jane Foster is Thor's love interest. She's gonna turn to the new Thor, so they're gonna add her to the game. And so I'm really looking forward. That's my personal thing I'm looking forward to. But I'm always looking for that game where I can have fun with the community, kind of like Mad Streets right now. But I am really looking forward to World War Z. I feel that that's going to be a really good community game, and I'm really looking forward to run around, shoot zombies, and see how much fun it's going to be. If it really will feel like that community game where a lot of people like Wreckfest, you see uh, Jeff doing Wreckfest on Monday nights, and like people just like 10 people was in there last night. It was cool, right? You see Stadia Pro doing Rainbow Six Siege, and he does it Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and people are just always let me play. So I'm looking for that next game, and I think World War Z would be it, where people are just gonna go crazy to play with each other.
No, I'm definitely looking for World War Z. Like I said, Suave, he really has set the bar pretty high, so, but I'm really excited just to see if that is going to be a staple, right? Can it bring the community together? Because,
right.
I started really getting more involved with the community when there was that kind of constant, like, hey, we're going to do this weekend.
Yeah. Together.
And then you start having people waiting and so forth. And so I really think that type of stuff is what Stadia is all about, because it's really about like you see the game, you click it, you can get in there and play. So to Suave, you got a lot of weight on your shoulders right now.
A lot.
Like I said, I think there are a few. There's a couple of Stadia dog fooders actually in the chat. They're not popping up right now, but. What would you like to see?
I don't get the term Stadia dog fooders.
So Stadia dog food. So Google has a thing that when you dog food something, like so the Googlers actually get to Google it. That's what Google employees. That's what they call them. They get to test out things beforehand and give recommendations on what features or things need to come to the system. And so, what would you think is a feature that you would like to see come to Stadia?
Honestly, I'll say this. I don't think it's considered a feature, but I'll get into this real quick. What I used to like on PlayStation is the share, right? When you were able to share with one other person, and both people was able to play the game together. Stadia decided to allow you to share with 5 other people, so you can have 6 accounts, but you can't play with each other. My wife and I play a lot of games together, but on Stadia we can't do that, and I don't want to buy the same game twice. I did buy her Marvel Avengers, and it was cool. She did beat it, so that was cool. It got certain games she likes that I bought for her, but on my account, so we can't play together. So I would love to see. That's not really a feature, but I'll say that I would love to see Stadia say maybe there's an option. Hey, you can do option A, which is share your account with 5 other accounts, right? So that's 6 total accounts. Or option B, you can only share with one person, but you guys are able to play the game together. Other than that, I think Stadia has some really dope features already, but I would love to see developers take advantage. My favorite Stadia feature is crowd choice. I think being a YouTuber and having your audience dictate what you do is really cool. Having your audience change your super in something like Outcasters, right? Having your audience in what is it called? Is a Monkey Boy? It's a Monster Boy. Having your audience say, you need help. So we're going to press health and health drop. That's cool. Having your audience in Baldur's Gate choose, should you stab the brain or should you talk to the brain? And then you stab the brain and the brain attack you. That actually happened to me, right? That's really cool. So, but I would love to see developers say, hey, Stadia has this feature and we're gonna work on it more. Other than that, I mean, some things are features and some things are gimmicks. So I'm just trying to think if there's something I've seen that I think Stadia should add, and I don't think so. I think Stadia is doing really good right now for themselves, honestly. I don't really think they need to step it up just yet with the Gen 2. If they did, it will wow people. But I think what Stadia has right now is good enough to sustain itself. And even if they don't get AAA games, which some people think it might be a while, I think what Stadia is great at is people like you. You said you didn't play games for a while. I've never stopped playing games, but they still wowed me, right? But there's a lot of people who are just getting back into gaming. There's a lot of people who travel. There's a lot of people who Stadia works perfect for, and they could look both ways and say, you know what? I don't need Stadia to have that super AAA game because maybe I could play it on something else, right? Or maybe I just don't need it. One of the biggest advantages of Stadia, I say, is it's free, right? So not to throw shade, but I got to make an illustration. If I was a GFN fan, and I paid for the 3080, which is $100 for every 6 months. I know they just made a new $20 a month, right? So let's say I paid $20 a month just to play my games on the service. I'm gonna be extra mad if my game, my platform of choice that I pay for doesn't get Elden Ring. Now on Stadia, Elden Ring, y'all don't got Elden Ring. I mean, and it's not, I didn't literally, it's not like I bought a $500 console and I didn't get Elden Ring. Then I'm like, bro, I spent a lot of money to get in this ecosystem. Stadia is free. So really, it doesn't harm you at all because you didn't really pay anything to get into the ecosystem. Even if you think of the Premier Edition, well, guess what? You got a controller and a Chromecast Ultra. What you got had its own value tied to it anyway, right? So Stadia has that over its head that even if you pay for Pro, right? Well, you got legitimately got those games. But let's say GFN, you actually had to pay first to inherit the platform, and then you use games. So that's more of a like, oh man, this didn't get the game that I want. So
Yeah, I want to just shout out Squiz right now. You don't understand how happy I am to see you type this up, just relaxing from work. We've been there with you, brother. So thank you just for doing the content. Understand you'll probably take a little foot off the gas here. You've definitely been propping up the community, but congrats on that job. Um, so you talked about you weren't too excited about that next gen of games. You don't think that they should necessarily go in and put the foot, pour, the gas on the fire as far as getting games.
Not yet because it's a logistics thing, right? Stadia's Achilles heel right now, meaning they're the thing that harmed them the most when it comes to getting games is the player base is small. So you have to be fair, right? And I don't think a lot of people are consumers. I like to have a business mind. I worked at a market research company for 20 years. I was heavy into network marketing. So I was always into making money in extra ways, right? So I'll say this. If I was going to sell 30 of these controllers, right? Then how many people am I selling to? So if I was going to pay for 30 of these controllers, I want to at least get a return on my investment and then some, because a business is made to make profit. So if I said, Purple, let's go into business together, right? We're going to market this to our friends. You said, Cowboy, we know 5 people. But you just said you want to buy 30 of them. I know, but what? Like, that's literally our friends. Well, maybe our friends might find people. Wait, you don't. So you didn't do the research to see how many people that would potentially buy this product. Here's the thing. In market research, let's say we had a survey where we needed to get 35 physicians, right? We will send about 1,000 faxes to get 35 because the aggregate is very small, but you had to get a big pool to pull from, right? So let's say we get something like Call of Duty Warzone. The Stadia, and that's a multiplayer game, massive multiplayer game where you can have over 100 people on the map, right? You know what's going to happen? Oh, nobody's on Stadia. Is barely anybody playing. They said that about FIFA. So I think Stadia does trust me, Google is great with accumulating data. That's what they do. I'm sure they know, you know what? There's no rush to get this crazy popular game, massive multiplayer game, because our player base is kind of small and it's going to turn to a negative. it's going to turn into nobody's ever on Stadia. They need crossplay because it ain't nobody. So, and I heard Ace say this earlier. He didn't realize he put his foot in his mouth, right? He was like, sorry, Ace, but I said it on the show, so he knows. But he was like, man, people are always talking about these great games, and he wasn't talking about Stadia when he said this. And nobody's playing Sifu. Nobody's playing this game anymore. So everybody talk about they want this and that game, but nobody's playing them. I said, Ace, maybe Google knows that in 2 months, nobody's going to be playing Elden Ring that much. So because Elden Ring is the most sought after game, maybe they don't want to pay tens of million dollars to get Elden Ring. And 2 months later, nobody's paying. Maybe they're like, you know what? It's all about deals. Elden Ring, man, they want to charge us a lot because it's super popular. You think people are going to still be playing 2 months later? It's probably going to die off. You know what? Let's just skip it, right? So I think it's a lot of market research, a lot of research going to these games. And I think Google knows what they're doing because cloud gaming isn't popular. So that means they could take a while. And as cloud gaming get more popular, trust me, Stadia is going to get better and better because the player base is going to be there. Stadia already cemented that they're one of the pioneers of cloud gaming, right? We've all said, man, I wouldn't have known you if it wasn't for Stadia. Even people who don't play Stadia anymore, man, I got to give Stadia credit because that's how we met each other. So Stadia is a household name in cloud gaming now, whether you like it or not. We just need the rest of the world or a big chunk of the world to when they learn what cloud gaming is, they say like, oh yeah, my TV said Stadia. That's right. That TV I bought in 2021, it had a Stadia, but I didn't know what it was. Well, now I know what it was, and I still got that TV.
No, shout out. So ISO Motion Gaming, like dude's not even a cloud gamer is in here. So thank you, ISO, for stopping by. Definitely know you from Doc's channel. I saw some of your content. So thanks for stopping by. No, I think like, personally for me, I think the games are definitely coming.
Right.
I put a lot of, me personally, I think a lot of it is also on the developer. Yes. And, just because like cloud gaming, if we think about before cloud gaming was a thing, so many features that are cloud gaming, that's what we wanted. And now it's like, okay, it's there. But so I think it's also on the developer. It's not like we go to a platform to say, oh, you didn't make this game 2-player. It's a feature of the game. So I'm right there with you. I'm hoping that, like part of my channel, what I would like to do is bring on some of these developers. Obviously, I'm not going to get like some of these bigger ones, but the indie ones, because I think those are the ones that are going to really have a breakthrough in gaming. So it's really, it's good to see. And I see a lot of the chat is all about the games.
That's true.
I got to catch up here on chat.
I think it is all about the games, but cloud gaming is new. So I think cloud gaming could get a pass, to be honest with you. You could be mad about this game you wanted, but gamers are fickle, right? This game you wanted so bad. Who's talking about Sifu anymore? That was a hot topic a couple months ago. In 2 months from now, nobody's going to be talking about Horizon Horizon Forbidden West. It's going to be the game that came out. It got wowed you. It got 10s or 9.8s or whatever. And then it did its thing, and then it kind of went by. Cloud gaming, we could agree, isn't going anywhere, right? So one of Stadia's biggest things now is that they are doing white labeling, immersive streams. So the fact that they're doing that, we know Stadia isn't going nowhere. So trust me, this thing gets more popular. Remember, one of the things that hinder Stadia the most is that they chose to go with Linux, right? They wanted to create games from the ground up. They're the only cloud service that wanted to build cloud games from the, I'll say, cloud up, right? So they built Stadia that way, but it hinders them because it's harder to port games over. Now, we know that they got low charge porting that we learned at the Developer Summit. That's going to help that out. And guess what? World War Z, the game we really want. Well, what do they call? Saber Interactive, I think they're called. They are one of the ones that's was doing the porting with World War Z, right? They did the porting for some other stuff. So trust me, cloud gaming is new. It's going to get better. It's going to get sharper. It's going to get easier to port over games. And then it's going to be just like everything else, you know, where you get your stuff and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, Stadia got that. Yes, Stadia, GFN got that. Oh, Luna has that. You know.
No, I mean, like I said, I think it's to me, it's always been like it's a technology. People forget that. Shout out
Right.
to Cloudy V when he had us on the show talking about Linux. You know, it made me dig super deep into my
Yeah.
knowledge base. Was not expecting that, but definitely, um, it is what allows Stadia to cut down on the latency at the end of the day and allow it to do a lot of the
Right.
computing power. Um, so another question I have for you is just, now you got your family streaming. You brought, Lena Love's super excited. Well, she's been streaming for a while, right? So it's not like she's new. What does that make you feel like to see
So it is pretty cool. I had her on the channel yesterday, and I do a thing called Stadia Bash Community Spotlight, where I take a person who was a Stadia Bash community member, and I have them on. So I never had her on before because she didn't have her own channel. She just streamed. Now, mind you, she had a couple streams where we were supposed to do stuff together, and I didn't, and so she did it all by herself. So she jumped in this thing, just like, "What's up, guys?" And she's really great at it, and I think she's gonna do great. It is interesting though because I do have a son. And it's funny that my daughter is jumped into this and my son didn't, and he was more into games than she was one point in time. But it's really cool, man. I don't think I really realized it yet that my daughter has her own YouTube channel now, and she's making her own content. So I don't think I realized it yet because I first looked at it like, I mean, she's streaming on my channel. She's doing a show that I came up with. She's taking my ideal that I told her, hey, let's do this together. But I don't think it grabbed me yet that she's now on her own doing her own thing. So it's cool. And it also is cool to do content with my wife because before my wife was never did content with me. She just was like in the background or in the video that I made, right? And when I asked her 2 years ago, hey, what if we did a show together? And she was like, all right, cool. I was like, for real? She's like, yeah. And I was like, cool, we can sit at the dining room table, make a little professional. She's like, no, we're going to sit in the bed. I was like, in the bed? That's so tacky. And then it became our Thursday night show. Mind you, we never missed a week in 2 years, ever. So that's been pretty cool. And now we just hit, last week was the season finale for season 2. So we hit straight 2 years of doing it every single week. The first year we did it every Thursday, never missed a Thursday. And this last year we missed a couple Thursdays, probably 4 or 5, and then we just did a different day, but we never missed a week. So it's been really cool to do content with my family, but I don't think I really realized how amazing it is because I've been making content since 2011 and I've been just yanking my family in videos all the time anyway. So when I pull out a camera, they just like, oh, whatever. It's second nature then. We're like, well, here we go. Here go my dad running around with the camera, and I'm always trying to catch stuff. So
cool. Well, you have a lot of content. You have all sorts of content creators here. We got Doc over 5,000. Congrats on that from last month. I know, Doc, you got there. But you also have some smaller ones, right? Like me, who's just starting out. What's one piece of advice you think for all content creators you would say from your perspective? And then one for like newer content creators or people thinking about getting into content that you would get.
So my number one thing is this. If you want to do it, start, right? Don't wait. Don't say you need the big camera. Don't say you need the expensive microphone. Those are things that's going to put you off. You're going to benefit more by starting off as small as you can because you're going to get that experience and you're going to get the confidence, right? Yeah, you might have a couple people talking about like, oh, it's dim in the background. But if you want to do content, then you just do it. That experience you get from just fumbling, you can't put a price on it. If you come out with the greatest stuff, right? First of all, that stuff costs money. So you're probably going to be waiting. If you say, I got to write a script, right? You're going to be waiting. Just do it. You could look back at your small beginnings and laugh like, oh, that was a crazy video. My first video, if you look at it, you'd be like, what the heck? You know why? I was big into 3D. I had a 3D phone. I had the HTC Evo. And my first video, if you look at it, it's like 2 screens. And you'd be like, why is it double screens? Because I recorded it with a 3D camera because it was cool at the time. And if you had watched it on the 3D camera, it was both images was together, so you see the foreground and the background. Well, I wouldn't have knew that 3D would have just got not that popular. So now it looks funny, but guess what? I can laugh at that, but that helped me get into it. So that's the first thing. Just start. Number two, nothing beats consistency. If you just starting out, your viewers are going to like something about you. But guess what? They're your viewers. The word viewers, meaning they want to see you. If you say, "Oh, I'm busy, I can't, I I just can't make a video," you take a month off. Guess what? They're viewers. So they're going to view somebody. And when you come back, they kind of moved on. People want to see consistency. I've seen it happen. People come in this game and then they quit. I've seen people, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. When I say this, hold on to your seats. I've seen people who got 1,000 views, 1,000 subscribers, 400,000 watch hours, monetize their channel and say I'm done and delete their channel. So what I'm saying is, when you say this is for you, just stay consistent. I don't care if you make one video a week, but always give your viewers something so they could learn who you are, engage with you and say, "Oh, I like this person. I want to watch this person." But when you stop being consistent, then you don't allow them to be able to view you consistently, if that makes sense. And then my last thing is this. I don't talk about this a lot, but I want to be honest. Networking is a great thing, right? So it's cool to collaborate. I see the Cloudy Thoughts crew forming a new thing, which is great. Just make sure your channel is your baby. So I'll say that. I've had times where again, I'll go back to the streaming at the same time where people ask me, "Hey, can you not stream when I stream?" I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'll put my stuff off for you." And then I'll see those same people end up quitting and they don't stream anymore. And I'm like, I'm trying to grow my channel just like you. So if you're going to put things on hold for other people, make sure they're serious about it because you have to take your channel serious. Your channel is your baby. You're growing your channel. Nobody's going to grow your channel for you. Yeah, you could probably have a guest on and that could bring people in. But at the end of the day, the majority of the content is going to be your content. So if you do collaborate with people, make sure those people you could trust and they're serious, right? Make sure if you say, "Okay, you stream this day, I stream this day," that's all great. We should do that to help each other out. But your channel is your baby and you have to take responsibility to grow your channel. So you have to, when people ask you like, "Oh, put stuff on hold or whatever," that's cool. We're cool. We're all buddies. We want to help each other. But just make sure you do keep in mind that, hey, I do have to grow my channel. So I have to, like, I always tell my kids, the word selfish is considered negative, but it's not always. There's some times where you have to be selfish because you have to keep yourself accountable. Because sometimes people don't hold you accountable. You have to hold yourself accountable. So if you get into content creation, just remember, it's your baby. Your channel is your baby. And there's this magical number that people forget about. And you know what that is? That's 4,000 watch hours. Everybody say, "Man, YouTube is rough. I got to get 1,000 subscribers." It's also 4,000 watch hours. So if you're not paying attention, that you're always on this channel, you're on that channel, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're putting your content to the side, those are times where you could be building that watch hour. That is a thing. If you care to have your channel monetized. So
No, that's awesome. Well, the chat's been amazing. Not as many questions as I was hoping, but there is one. Like, if you had one game
okay.
that you could put on Stadia, like one game, what would it be?
So I like to do this, right? That's a great question. I like to ask that question, but I like to do it twofold. One is selfish. What game would I personally want? And then I'm going to tell you what game selfishly, not the first answer would be selfish. What game do I want? Stadia community might be like, the game is terrible, but it's what I want. Then the second, I'm going to give you what I think would benefit the community. What game would the community say, "Man, selfishly, I personally would like, and many people might not like this, the Friday the 13th game was a very, very fun game for me. Man, I would love for Stadia to have that game. Now, I do see they have the Evil Dead game coming out, and it might come to Stadia. Who knows? But it looks similar to Friday the 13th. But I think Friday 13th was a really cool game that was a lot of fun. And I think the community would also enjoy it. But personally, being able to run around as Jason Voorhees and kill people was pretty cool. That same company made the Predator game. A lot of people may not have played it because it was only on PlayStation, but that game was also a really cool game. That's selfishly, I would love to see Friday 13th come to Stadia. But I know they left the servers open, but they're not supporting the game anymore, so that probably will never happen. Or maybe even Anthem. Anthem would be really cool to come as well, but they don't support that either. And not selfishly, man, I think the community, honestly, if they made some type of deal that they could get the franchise of Call of Duty. I think not everyone likes Call of Duty. I don't play Call of Duty anymore, but it's just one of the biggest games. I think they said it was the best-selling game for like 13 years straight, something ridiculous. And I know Grand Theft Auto is a massive thing too, but I personally think if Stadia could somehow do a deal, Google did a deal with Activision, even though I know they're trying to be purchased by Microsoft, but they did say that they were going to continue to bring Call of Duty to other platforms, or continue to bring it to the platforms it's always on. Because I think they probably won't want to bring it to Stadia. I got a feeling they're only going to want Call of Duty to be in the cloud on xCloud. That's just my opinion, what I think is going to happen. But yeah, I think the community and Stadia would be great if we got Call of Duty. That would be amazing. That would make you feel like, bro, Stadia has Call of Duty. Like that's a staple in gaming, you know.
No, I hear you. I think when it comes to, like I've told people this before, I'm kind of like some of the more like smaller indie titles, just because I feel like a lot of those people are just trying to get their start. And I feel like Google as a platform really helps that, people do that, right? Well, I guess Google bought YouTube, but they really made it kind of the big thing, like giving people a chance to be that entertainer. Giving people to get their voice out there.
Can I change my answer real quick?
Okay, go ahead.
Change my answer. If we could just get Tekken. Bring Tekken to Stadia so I could whoop on everybody. Or WWE 2K20. Bring the WWE franchise games. Actually, we did get one. But bring WWE 2K, either one of those games. I love competitive games. So let me take Friday 13 out. That's a fun game. No, I love to talk trash. I love whooping people, and it's all in fun. But bring Tekken, because I would smash everybody on Stadia. I promise you. Or bring WWE 2K. Like when I thought they was going to bring that game, and I had a whole wrestling league plan. I'm telling you, I was going to have a whole thing. Who's the Intercontinental Champion? I was going to follow it. I was going to have a little sheet showing everybody, if you win, you're the champ. So I would love them to bring WWE 2K22, and that would be it.
I can see that. You're definitely like the beat 'em, like the fighter type.
Oh, yeah.
I think for me, it's just I'm just really looking forward to that next big thing, the thing that really pushes cloud gaming from like that small.
Ubisoft scaler, maybe.
Hey, that's part of it. I'm not gonna deny. I think it's a whole ecosystem, right? I think to really push to get to that next level, it's going to take inspirations from current titles that are out there. Right. It's going to take the tools that are out there. It's going to really be something, because if you think about any of the platforms, like the games that defined a platform, sometimes it's multiple games. It's always something like strange, it's something that's just kind of, I don't want to say revolutionary, but it's different. And so that's what I really like about Stadia, is that they do give that,
we need a cloud native game. I need one company, the concrete. Like, I don't want to hear we're working on a game. I know Haven Studios working on a game that's 1,000 gigs. But no one yet. I know Sega said they working with Microsoft. Microsoft, there's rumor they're working on too. I want one company, and let me know if this is such a thing, to come out and say, hey, we are working on a cloud native game, and for right now, it's called Project whatever. That's what I'm waiting for, to know I know there's probably companies working on it, but I want a concrete statement so I could get excited, because we were told with Stadia that they're going to be able to do things you never seen before in gaming. And that's, I can't, like, Scalar got me that excited, because I was like, I forgot that that's what cloud was supposed to do. Once Stadia closed SG&E, I was like, oh, we're just back to standard business where there's no downloads, and I could play on any device. Other than that, I was just like, that's what made cloud cool. But I forgot that cloud was supposed to, Stadia was supposed to be this, you're going to see something you never had, whether it's a battle royale game with 1,000 people on the screen at once. So I'm dying for the next company to say, hey, we have a game in works and it's called Project whatever, or here's the title.
No, that's awesome. Let's see if chat got it. And I'm gonna probably, it's a little over an hour. I wanted to keep it an hour. I know everyone has families, has other priorities than just shades of purple. Thank you all for coming. I'm just gonna try to clear it out. Thank you, Cowboy, for just being kind of a mentor, showing me so many different things. Giving me just not only like, hey, the good things, but also, hey, maybe you want to do this differently. Definitely really appreciate that. To everybody in chat, thank you. This has been super fun. I'm evolving it. Hopefully over time y'all get a little bit more about me as well. I do plan on doing some playthroughs. Obviously, it's just it's more or less a forcing mechanism for me to complete some games, because that's truly the one thing I don't think we do enough as gamers sometimes, is actually play the games that we want. We want it, right? Like, I was a huge Darksider Genesis. I was like, I can't wait till this one comes through.
No, and I was trying so hard to beat 3 so I could play with you in Genesis, and just stuff, we just didn't get to it.
Yeah. But no, thank you all. You'll probably see that coming through. And then for all the content creators out there, I'll probably, if you see me trying to get in your streams or your chats, I really want to bring y'all on, even if you don't play Stadia, even if you're play it a little bit, but maybe another system's your thing. Even maybe if you're not a gamer at all and you're like, I just want to try to get involved. I really want to try to just bring people on, get different perspectives out there, really get the message out, because I think gaming is something that should be enjoyed by everyone. And obviously everyone's different, and I just want to bring that together. But with that said, thank you again, everyone. So much love here. Thank you. And Cowboy, once again, thank you. If you could just, obviously stay backstage for a second.
Definitely, I'll stay here, but I just want all you guys to know that this video was epic, because I'm a cowboy. Oh, man.
Later, everyone. Thank you so much.